Nathan was startled when his wife, Anna, unexpectedly returned home earlier than usual, accompanied by someone familiar, Dave Knowlton, a colleague from her law firm. A suitcase lay open on the bed as Nathan, caught in the midst of packing, tried to maintain composure. His explanation was smooth but hurried. He claimed he had just received a sudden business opportunity and needed to catch a flight within hours. Anna, however, had come with more pressing news. As they settled at the kitchen table, she delivered the bombshell. "Dave and I have fallen in love," she confessed, emotionless but direct. "I don't love you anymore, Nathan. I want a divorce." She handed him a set of documents, already signed and filed, leaving him no room for debate. Nathan responded with surprising calm. Rather than argue or react emotionally, he requested to review the paperwork. Anna, taken aback by his mature demeanor, expected resistance but found none. Nathan explained that he didn't want to drag things out. He wanted to get everything settled before his departure. He even suggested having the papers notarized immediately to avoid delays, saying that his upcoming work might prevent him from dealing with legal matters later. "Wow, Nathan," Anna remarked, her tone tinged with surprise. "I thought you'd make this harder. I wasn't expecting you to be so reasonable." Nathan flipped through the divorce agreement, scanning each section with care. One clause stood out to him. Anna was requesting $2,000 in monthly spousal support. Calmly, he questioned her rationale since she had a well-paying job. "You know the court's formula," she replied. "You make 4 times what I do." Rather than argue, Nathan offered a solution that seemed unusually generous. "Let's base spousal support on a percentage, 25% of my income, so it adjusts as my earnings change. That way, if I earn more, you benefit too." Anna and Dave exchanged glances, clearly impressed. Dave nodded, and Anna accepted the proposal without hesitation. Nathan continued negotiating the asset division. "You've asked for 60% of the business," he said, addressing another key issue. "But you have no experience running it. How about I keep 51% to retain control? In return, I'll increase your share of our other investments from 60% to 80%. You'll get more financial security, and I can always rebuild my portfolio." Anna agreed, pleased with the arrangement. "As long as I keep the house," she added. Nathan didn't hesitate. "Sure. I'll transfer my share of the house and all our other properties to you. I don't need them. I'll probably buy a small apartment anyway, something simple. No need for extra expenses." Stunned by his apparent generosity, Anna leaned back in her chair, almost disbelieving. "Nathan, you're making this easier than I ever imagined." Nathan shrugged. "There's no point in dragging this out. Let's just wrap it up." When the discussion turned to child support, Nathan suggested another change. "Let's not just link support to my salary, make it 25% of all my income, including investments. The kids should always have what they need." Anna smiled, visibly relieved. "That sounds perfect." With everything agreed upon, Dave connected his laptop to their Wi-Fi, printed the revised documents, and arranged for a notary to come by. Once the papers were signed and notarized, Nathan grabbed his suitcase, gave them a polite farewell, and headed for the airport. A month later, Nathan was lying on the beach in Cabo, enjoying his new life. The sun was warm, the ocean breeze relaxing, and life seemed simpler than it had been in years. Just as he was dozing off, his phone rang. Without checking the caller ID, Nathan answered on speaker. "Hi, Anna," he greeted, a hint of amusement in his voice. "To what do I owe this call? Wasn't I generous enough for you?" Her voice came through the phone, filled with rage. "You bastard. I don't know how you did it, but you won't get away with this." Nathan remained calm, his tone playful. "What's the problem, dear?" "You know exactly what I mean," she screamed. "There's a moving truck in front of the house, and the sheriff is here with eviction papers." Nathan smirked, though Anna couldn't see it. "Oh," he said casually, "I assume the rightful owners of the house want to move in. You and Dave will have to leave." Anna's fury boiled over. "You transferred the house," she shouted. Nathan, still relaxed, let the silence linger for a moment before responding. "Yes, I transferred all my property, just like we agreed. I'm surprised you didn't read the fine print, Anna." The truth hit her like a freight train. In the rush to finalize the divorce, she had overlooked the details of Nathan's property transfer. He hadn't transferred the house to her, he had sold it to someone else entirely. Now, with legal papers in hand, the new owners were evicting Anna and Dave. Nathan chuckled softly, savoring the poetic justice. "Good luck with that, Anna. I hope you and Dave find a new place soon." Before she could respond, he ended the call and set his phone aside. The sun was shining, the waves were calling, and Nathan had no intention of letting anything spoil his day. The woman on the other end of the call was furious. "What do you mean by new owners?" "I am the owner," she snapped. I sighed, already tired of this conversation. Technically, no. What I gave you during the divorce was everything we owned at the time we signed the divorce papers. In fact, we didn't own any property for over 3 months before you handed me those papers to sign. She cut in, her voice sharp. Are you telling me even the beach house is gone? That's right, I confirmed. I told you a long time ago, I don't really care for the beach. So, yes, I sold it. You bastard, she hissed, frustration turning her words into venom. Where the hell are you? I need to meet with you to discuss signing the documents so I can officially take ownership of my share in the company. Yeah, about that, I said, pausing for a moment. You're a little late. I stopped running the company about 6 months ago. I only stayed on for a while as a manager, drawing a salary, to help the new owners get things running smoothly. But I stopped working there entirely a week before we had our last conversation. She gasped in disbelief. So, no more salary? No maintenance payments? That's right, I replied coolly. No salary, no maintenance. Her voice quivered with desperation. What about the children? You said you wanted to take care of them. I shook my head, though she couldn't see me. No, I corrected her. I said I wanted to take care of my children. Since I'm not the biological father of any of them, I have no responsibility toward them. Maybe you should talk to Chris and Jerry about supporting their kids. DNA is a wonderful thing, after all. There was a stunned silence on her end. After a long pause, she tried to recover her footing. Well, at least I still have my savings and investments. That was when I couldn't help it, I burst into laughter. Oh, you poor thing, I chuckled. It's all gone too. I transferred every bit of it to an offshore account the moment I sold the business. Good luck finding any trace of it. Her voice hardened with fury. We'll see what the court has to say about all of this. Go ahead, I said, completely unbothered. I gave you exactly what was outlined in the legally binding documents you signed and had notarized. You received 49% of the business I owned at the time of signing. You got every piece of property that was in our possession at the time of the divorce. You also got your fair share of my income at the time of the signing. And child support? You're already getting 25% of my income, just like the law demands. Her anger was boiling over. But you lied. You tricked me. I shrugged, even though she couldn't see it. If you never bothered to check whether I still owned the business, any property, or had ongoing income when you signed, that's not my problem. Her voice grew more desperate. But I was your wife for 10 years. I deserve more than nothing. And during those 10 years, I replied coldly, you were cheating on me for at least half of them. The moment I moved out, you wasted no time bringing your latest fling into the house. You're a fool, and you don't deserve a thing. There was a heavy pause before I delivered the final blow. Oh, and by the way, I've also filed a lawsuit against your company. What? She stammered. How? Why? I found something very interesting in your company's employee handbook, I explained. There's a section about workplace ethics that explicitly prohibits adulterous relationships between coworkers. I sent them a video of you and your boyfriend in the conference room. That should guarantee both of you get fired? Her breathing grew ragged as the weight of the situation hit her. No, this can't be happening. There's more, I added. Turns out, the ethics committee launched an investigation into him too. It seems there's some compelling evidence that he was involved in an inappropriate relationship with a client whose interests he was representing. If the investigation goes through, he might lose his law license entirely. Her voice cracked. No, if that happens, he won't even be able to transfer to another firm or start his own. That's right, I confirmed. He's going to be locked out of the legal world completely. She tried to collect herself. I need to call David. I need to warn him. I gave a low chuckle. Don't bother. He won't answer. What do you mean? She demanded, panic rising in her voice. I heard he was the unfortunate victim of a brutal robbery. He's probably in an ambulance right now on his way to Mercy General Hospital. There was a stunned silence on her end. Maybe it's time for you to find a new boyfriend, I suggested, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh my God, she whispered, her voice filled with disbelief and fear. I smiled to myself. Not even close, I muttered as the call ended. The beautiful Latin woman lying next to me stirred from her nap, her dark eyes blinking awake. She glanced over at me, then smiled lazily. She rolled closer, her fingers trailing across my chest. What was that about? She asked in a soft, teasing voice. Just finishing some old business, I replied. She grinned knowingly. Well, how about we head back to that private cabana? It's getting warm in here. I gave her a playful smirk. Lead the way. This whole trip had been her idea, a way to celebrate the end of the madness. She had been my secret informant, keeping me updated on every move my ex-wife made. It was thanks to her tip that I knew about the ambush being planned. The moment my ex-wife filed the divorce papers, she quit her job at the law firm, packed her things, and met me at the airport. 2 days later, we were on a flight to Cabo. Now, we were in Costa Rica, where life was cheap, the beaches were beautiful, and the expat community was thriving. With my offshore account secure and my troubles left behind, I was free to live like a king. And that's exactly what I intended to do.